Our beautiful Earth, this precious blue marble, is sending us signals. For decades, scientists the world over have studied these signs with great care. Their message is now clearer than ever before. The climate of our planet is changing. It is changing at a pace that is alarming. This change is not just a natural cycle. Human activities are the primary driver. We are influencing the very systems that sustain life. It is a truth we must acknowledge, with honesty and with courage, to chart a better course for the future generations who will inherit this world. The main culprits are gases. We call them greenhouse gases. Think of them as a blanket. A thin blanket around our Earth is good. It keeps the planet warm enough for life to flourish. Carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, these are the main ones. For millennia, their balance was just right. But since the Industrial Revolution, things began to change. We started burning fossil fuels, coal, oil, and gas, on a massive scale. This released enormous amounts of extra carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, much more than the natural systems could absorb. This extra layer of gas traps more heat from the sun. It is like adding more and more blankets on a warm day. The Earth warms up. This is what we call global warming. It is the engine driving wider climate change. Deforestation also plays a significant part. Forests are our planet's lungs. They breathe in carbon dioxide. When we cut them down, often to make way for agriculture or settlements, we lose this vital service. Not only that, but the carbon stored in the trees is released back into the air, adding to the problem. So, the science is quite straightforward. Our industries, our transport, our farming methods, and the way we use land have all contributed. We have, unknowingly for a long time, been altering the delicate chemical balance of our atmosphere. The scientific consensus is overwhelming. Organizations like the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, bring together thousands of scientists. They review all the available evidence. Their reports are stark. They confirm that human influence has warmed the atmosphere, ocean, and land. This is our shared reality, our starting point for solutions. The Earth, our only home, is showing clear signs of this warming. The most direct sign is the rise in global average temperatures. Records stretching back over a century show a consistent upward trend. Each of the last few decades has been successively warmer than any preceding decade since 1850. This isn't just a minor fluctuation. It's a persistent fever, a symptom of a planet under stress. We see it in the melting of glaciers and ice sheets. These vast stores of ancient ice, from the Himalayas to the polar regions, are shrinking at an unprecedented rate, a visible testament to the warming world. This melting ice contributes to another alarming sign: rising sea levels. As the oceans warm, the water itself expands. Add to that the meltwater from land-based ice, and you see the seas begin to creep higher. Coastal communities around the world, from small island nations in the Pacific to bustling megacities like Mumbai or Kolkata, are already feeling the effects. Higher tides, increased coastal erosion, and greater risk of flooding during storms are becoming the new normal for millions. This is not a distant threat. It is happening now, reshaping coastlines and lives. Then there are the extreme weather events. We are witnessing an increase in their frequency and their intensity. Heat waves are becoming longer and hotter, putting immense strain on human health and agriculture. Droughts are becoming more prolonged in some regions, leading to water scarcity and crop failures. In other areas, we see more intense rainfall, causing devastating floods and landslides. Hurricanes, cyclones, and typhoons are drawing more energy from warmer ocean waters, becoming more powerful and destructive. These are not isolated incidents, but part of a disturbing global pattern. The intricate web of life, biodiversity, is also suffering. Ecosystems are struggling to adapt quickly enough to these rapid changes. Coral reefs, those vibrant underwater cities, are bleaching and dying due to warmer, more acidic oceans. Many species of plants and animals are shifting their ranges, or worse, facing extinction. The timing of natural events like flowering or migration is being disrupted. This impacts not just the individual species, but the entire balance of nature, the very fabric of life that has evolved over millions of years. Our planet is truly sending out an SOS. The message from our planet, and from the scientific community, is one of profound urgency. The changes we are witnessing are not merely statistics on a graph. They represent real-world impacts that are already affecting lives, livelihoods, and ecosystems across the globe. If we continue on our current path, if we delay meaningful action, the consequences will become far more severe and, in some cases, irreversible. We are at a critical juncture in human history. The choices we make in this decade will determine the kind of world we leave behind for future generations. Inaction carries a heavy price. Imagine a world with even more intense heat waves, making vast regions uninhabitable for parts of the year. Picture widespread water shortages, leading to conflict and displacement. Envision agricultural systems collapsing under the strain of drought and unpredictable weather, threatening food security for crores of people. Consider the displacement of millions from coastal areas as sea levels continue their relentless rise. These are not scaremongering tactics. They are plausible scenarios based on scientific projections if greenhouse gas emissions are not drastically reduced. The cost of inaction far outweighs the cost of action. Furthermore, there are tipping points in the Earth's climate system. These are thresholds beyond which changes can become self-amplifying and unstoppable, even if we were to reduce emissions later. The melting of permafrost, for instance, releases vast amounts of methane, a potent greenhouse gas, which then causes more warming, leading to more permafrost melt. The loss of the Amazon rainforest could turn it from a carbon sink into a carbon source. Once these tipping points are crossed, our ability to control the situation diminishes dramatically. We must act decisively to stay well clear of these dangerous thresholds. Therefore, the call for quick action is not just about avoiding future disasters. It is also about seizing the opportunity to build a better, more sustainable, and more equitable world. A transition to a cleaner economy can create new jobs, improve public health by reducing air pollution, and enhance our energy security. It can foster innovation and lead to more resilient communities. The urgency is also an invitation to innovate, to collaborate, and to demonstrate our capacity for foresight and collective responsibility. The time for incremental changes is past. We need transformative action, and we need it now. The challenge before us is immense, but humanity is an ingenious species. We possess the knowledge and the tools to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions significantly. This is known as mitigation. At the forefront of these solutions is the transition to renewable energy sources. Solar power, harnessing the abundant energy of the sun, is becoming cheaper and more efficient every year. Vast solar farms can power cities, and rooftop panels can empower individual homes. The potential is truly enormous, a gift from our nearest star that we are only just beginning to fully embrace. Wind power is another giant in the renewable energy landscape. Majestic wind turbines, whether on land or offshore, are converting the power of the wind into clean electricity. Many countries are now generating a significant portion of their energy needs from wind, reducing their reliance on polluting fossil fuels. Geothermal energy, tapping into the Earth's internal heat, offers a consistent and reliable source of power in many regions. These technologies are no longer niche. They are mainstream, cost-effective, and rapidly deployable alternatives to the energy sources that have driven climate change. Alongside generating clean energy, we must also become far more efficient in how we use energy. Energy efficiency is often called the first fuel because the cheapest and cleanest unit of energy is the one we don't use. This means better insulation in our buildings, more efficient appliances, smarter industrial processes, and vehicles that consume less fuel. Simple changes in our daily habits, like turning off lights when not needed or choosing public transport, can collectively make a huge difference. Energy conservation is a powerful tool that everyone can wield. Another area of innovation is carbon capture, utilization, and storage, or CCUS. These technologies aim to capture carbon dioxide emissions from industrial sources, or even directly from the atmosphere. Once captured, the CO2 can be stored deep underground in geological formations, or it can be utilized to create valuable products. While still developing and facing challenges of scale and cost, CCUS could play a role in decarbonizing hard-to-abate sectors, such as cement and steel production, helping us reach our climate goals more swiftly. These mitigation marvels offer pathways to a low-carbon future. While we work tirelessly to reduce emissions and slow down climate change, that's mitigation. We must also acknowledge a sobering reality. Some impacts of climate change are already locked in because of past and current emissions. The Earth's climate system, has a certain inertia. This means that even if we stopped all emissions today, some warming and its consequences would continue for some time. Therefore, we must also adapt to the changes that are, unavoidable. Adaptation means adjusting our societies and our ecosystems to cope with the current and future effects of climate change. Adaptation strategies are diverse and context-specific, tailored to the unique vulnerabilities of different regions. For coastal communities facing rising sea levels and increased storm surges, solutions might include building seawalls and elevating infrastructure. Restoring and protecting natural coastal defenses like mangrove forests and coral reefs can also provide remarkable protection. In regions prone to drought, adaptation could involve developing drought-resistant crops, implementing efficient water management and irrigation techniques, and diversifying water sources. Water conservation becomes paramount in such scenarios. Sustainable agriculture is another crucial area for adaptation. Farmers around the world are on the front lines of climate change, facing unpredictable weather patterns, new pests, and changing growing seasons. Agroecology, crop diversification, and improved soil management practices can help build resilience in our food systems. Early warning systems for extreme weather events are also vital, giving communities time to prepare and reduce potential damage and loss of life. Investing in these systems is really an investment in human safety and well-being. It's important to understand that adaptation is not a substitute for mitigation. We cannot simply adapt our way out of climate change if emissions continue unchecked. The scale of adaptation required would become overwhelming, and in some cases impossible. However, adaptation is an essential partner to mitigation. It helps us manage the unavoidable impacts, protect vulnerable populations, and build more resilient societies. It's about learning to live with the changes we've already set in motion, while striving to prevent even more severe changes in the future. Climate change is a truly global challenge. The atmosphere knows no national borders. Greenhouse gases emitted in one part of the world, while they affect the entire planet. Therefore, solutions also require unprecedented international cooperation. No single nation, however powerful or resourceful, can solve this crisis alone. We are all in this together. This shared understanding has led to landmark global agreements aimed at fostering collective action, a handshake across continents for the sake of our common home. The most significant of these is the Paris Agreement, adopted in 2015. Under this historic accord, nearly all countries in the world committed to limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, while pursuing efforts to limit it to 1.5 degrees. Each country put forward its own national targets, known as Nationally Determined Contributions or NDCs, to reduce emissions and adapt to climate impacts. The agreement also established a framework for transparency, accountability, and a regular stocktake of progress, encouraging countries to ramp up their ambitions over time. International cooperation extends beyond treaties and targets. It involves sharing knowledge, technology, and financial resources. Developed countries have a responsibility to support developing nations in their climate action efforts. This includes providing financial assistance for clean energy transitions and adaptation measures, as well as facilitating the transfer of green technologies. Collaborative research and development efforts can accelerate the discovery and deployment of new climate solutions. Platforms like the Conference of the Parties or COP meetings provide crucial forums for negotiation, dialogue, and strengthening global partnerships. However, international agreements are only as strong as the commitment of the nations that sign them. The journey requires sustained political will, diplomacy, and a genuine spirit of solidarity. There will be challenges and disagreements along the way, as different countries have different circumstances and priorities. But the overarching goal, protecting our planet for future generations, must remain our guiding star. The global handshake must be firm, resilient, and enduring if we are to navigate the complexities of climate change successfully. The fate of our shared world depends on it. While international agreements and national policies set the stage, tackling climate change effectively requires action at every level of society. It is not just a task for governments or large corporations. Every single one of us has a role to play. Governments bear a crucial responsibility to create the enabling frameworks. This includes setting ambitious emissions reduction targets, implementing policies like carbon pricing or renewable energy mandates, investing in sustainable infrastructure, and protecting natural ecosystems. They must lead by example and create the conditions for widespread change. Businesses, too, have a vital part. From small enterprises to multinational corporations, the private sector is a powerful engine of innovation and economic activity. Businesses can contribute by adopting sustainable practices, investing in clean technologies, reducing their carbon footprint throughout their supply chains, and offering climate-friendly products and services. Many companies are now recognizing that sustainability is not just good for the planet, but also good for business, leading to greater efficiency, reduced risks, and enhanced brand reputation. The corporate world must be a partner in this transition. And then there are individuals, communities, and civil society. Our collective choices and actions have a profound impact. We can make a difference through our consumption patterns, what we eat, what we buy, and how we dispose of waste. We can choose to reduce our energy use at home and in our travel. We can support businesses and organizations that are committed to sustainability. We can raise our voices, advocate for stronger climate policies, and educate ourselves and others about the challenges and solutions. Community-led initiatives from local recycling programs to urban gardening projects demonstrate the power of grassroots action. Ultimately, climate action is a shared responsibility. It requires a whole-of-society approach, where governments, businesses, academia, communities, and individuals work in concert. It is about fostering a culture of sustainability, where environmental stewardship becomes a core value. Every action, no matter how small it may seem, contributes to the larger effort. When millions, indeed billions of people make conscious choices and demand change, the cumulative effect can be transformative. We are all custodians of this planet, and our collective efforts will shape its future. As we confront the climate crisis, we are also witnessing an extraordinary wave of innovation. Human ingenuity is being channeled towards finding new and better ways to power our world, manage our resources, and restore our planet's health. One exciting frontier is green hydrogen. Produced using renewable electricity to split water into hydrogen and oxygen, green hydrogen offers a clean fuel alternative for hard-to-decarbonize sectors like heavy industry and long-distance transport. While still in its early stages of development, its potential to revolutionize our energy systems is immense. Beyond technological fixes, we are also rediscovering the profound wisdom of nature itself. Nature-based solutions involve working with and enhancing natural processes to address societal challenges like climate change. Reforestation and afforestation, planting new trees and restoring degraded forests, are powerful ways to draw carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Protecting and restoring wetlands, mangroves, and seagrass beds can also sequester significant amounts of carbon while providing vital habitats and coastal protection. These solutions often bring multiple benefits, enhancing biodiversity and improving human well-being. It is also paramount that our pursuit of climate solutions is fair and just. The impacts of climate change often disproportionately affect the most vulnerable communities, those who have contributed least to the problem. Climate solutions must, therefore, prioritize equity and social justice. This means ensuring that the transition to a green economy creates decent jobs and opportunities for all, that marginalized communities have a voice in decision-making processes, and that the benefits of climate action are shared widely. A just transition is not only morally right, but also essential for building broad public support for the changes needed. Furthermore, continuous research and development are key. Scientists and engineers are constantly exploring new materials, smarter grids, more efficient energy storage solutions, and innovative approaches to sustainable agriculture and land use. The spirit of discovery is alive and well. From advancements in battery technology that can store renewable energy more effectively, to breakthroughs in direct air capture that could one day remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere at scale, the pipeline of innovation offers hope. We must continue to invest in science and support the bright minds working on these critical challenges. The picture of our changing climate can, at times, seem daunting. The scale of the challenge is undeniable, and the urgency for action is paramount. Yet amidst this, there is also profound reason for hope. Hope springs from our growing understanding of the problem. It springs from the remarkable ingenuity of the human spirit, which we can see in the incredible array of solutions already available and those on the horizon. It springs from the increasing global awareness and the rising chorus of voices demanding change, especially from young people who will inherit this world. We have faced immense challenges before in our long history on this planet, and we have often found ways to overcome them through cooperation, innovation, and determination. The fight against climate change is perhaps the greatest test humanity has ever faced, but it is also an unparalleled opportunity to forge a better future. A future that is cleaner, healthier, more equitable, and more harmonious with the natural world that sustains us all. The technological progress we are witnessing in renewable energy, energy storage, and sustainable practices is accelerating at an astonishing pace. The power of collective action cannot be overstated. When individuals, communities, businesses, and governments unite with a common purpose, transformative change is possible. We see this in the growth of renewable energy, which was once a niche sector and is now a global powerhouse. We see it in the increasing commitments from countries and corporations to achieve net zero emissions. Every positive action, every sustainable choice, Every policy implemented adds to a growing wave of momentum. This is not a time for despair, but for determined, optimistic action. Our planet, this wondrous interconnected web of life, is remarkably resilient, but it needs our help. It needs us to be wise stewards, to make choices that protect its delicate balance. We have the knowledge, we have the tools, and I believe deep down we have the will. Together we can navigate this crisis. We can heal our planet. We can build a future where both humanity and nature thrive, not just for ourselves, but for all the generations yet to come. The path ahead requires courage, commitment, and above all, hope. Let us walk it together,